Hello guys, welcome back to the session. So in this session we are going to discuss important questions from the chapter 9 to chapter 16, that is part 2. So we already completed the part 1 from chapter 1 to chapter 8, important questions based on the blueprint. So in this session that is from chapter 9, we study 1 mark questions, 3 mark questions and 5 mark questions. So chapter number 9 is that is strategies for enhancement and food production. Okay, so in this chapter 1 mark is 1 question, 3 mark is 1 question and 5 mark is 1 question. Total they ask 9 marks. Okay, so 1 mark questions, that the first one is MOET. So you have to expand or write the meaning of the MOET, that is multiple ovulation embryo transfer. Okay, and second question, that is apiculture. So apiculture means we have to culture the honeybees, that is apiculture. And third question is germplasm. So here germ cells are involved, that is a theory, germplasm theory was discovered by Weismann. Okay, and fourth one, that is explants. So explants are the part of tissue which is mainly used in the plant tissue culture or tissue culture techniques. And fifth question is that is single cell protein. So we have to write 1 or 2 sentences, that is 1 mark questions, or they will ask in the MCQs. Okay, next in 3 mark questions they ask in 3 mark questions they ask dairy farm management. So we have to write at least 5 to 6 points about dairy farm management. And poultry farming management, so same 5 to 6 points. Animal breeding 5 to 6 points. Single cell protein 5 to 6 points, and plant breeding or improved quality, that is 5 to 6 points. So we have to write only points based on the question. Okay, so in the next 5 mark questions, that is animal breeding. So animal breeding, if you have to write 8 to 10 points or 10 characters of animal breeding. So then next is beekeeping. We already studied the apiculture. So animal breeding is 5 marks, 8 to 10 points. Beekeeping 8 to 10 points. Plant breeding techniques 8 to 10 points. And tissue culture, that is also 8 to 10 points. And plant breeding for disease resistance, this is also 8 to 10 points. If you, so more than 10 points is better, because if they correct the characters like a half mark for 1 point, then 10 points, that is 5 mark. Okay, so just at least write minimum 10 points about in 5 mark questions. Clear? Next chapter number 8, that is microbes in human welfare. So in this chapter we will deals with the 6 marks, that is 1 mark 1 question and 5 mark 1 question. So in 1 mark 1 question they mainly expand given the code, that is expand, and also write the definition of the word, or they ask the MCQs. So first one is lab, that is lactic acid bacteria, and second one is fermenters, so the containers which are mainly used for the fermentation, and TMV, that is tobacco mosaic virus, and fourth one, that is BOD, biological oxygen demand. So you have to write the meaning of the BOD, what is the function or what is the cause of the TMV, what is the function of fermenters, what is the function of lab, or what is mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza means symbiosis of fungi and roots of higher plants. Okay, then 5 mark questions. The first one is rule of microbes in household products. So we have to write 8 to 10 points, or more than 10 points is better. So rule of microbes in household products, and structure of typical biogas plant, this is very important. So in 3 to 4 times they ask the question biogas plant. So we have to draw the diagram and label the parts, and also some you have to write some characters about the biogas plant. Then rule of microbes in biofertilizers, this is also important. Rule of microbes in sewage treatment, this is also important, because primary treatment, secondary treatment and tertiary treatment, we have to explain all 3, because they ask the question 5 marks. Then microbes as a biocontrol agent, so they may mainly this is not important, it's just you have to read for your backup. Okay, so next chapter number 11, that is biotechnology principles and processes. So in this chapter we will deal with the 7 marks, that is 1 mark 2 questions and 5 mark 1 question. So in 1 mark questions, the first one is cloning. Clone means a similar individuals of the parents. Okay, plasmid is the autosomal small sequence of DNA mainly present in prokaryotes. Hind2 is the enzyme, restriction enzyme, first enzyme, and ampicillin is the resistance gene, and PCR is polymerase chain reaction, and bioreactor mainly used to biotic agents, and lysozyme is the also a type of enzyme. Biolistics these are also bioactive agents, and restriction endonucleases and DNA ligase is also used as to join the molecules. So you have to write the meaning and expansion of the word. Next, 5 mark questions. Draw the neat label diagram of PBr 322. So you have to write the diagram PBr 322 with the help of the enzymes and the resistance genes like tetracycline and ampicillin and origin of replication. So you have to write all or you have to label the parts of the PBr 322. Next, diagram of simple stirred tank bioreactor. This is important. Simple stirred bioreactor, sparged bioreactor. Simple stirred bioreactor or sparged tank bioreactor. So in this one is very important, and this is also important. So next, fourth question is tools of recombinant DNA technology. So in these two are also important, because if they ask a diagram in these two, if they ask the theory part in these two, they will ask one question. So tools of recombinant DNA technology and a process of recombinant DNA technology. So these four are very important. So these 1, 2, 4, 5 are very important. Clear? Just note down the questions. Next, chapter number 12, that is biotechnology and its applications. So in this chapter we will only discuss 5 mark questions, because this chapter only conducts the 5 mark only. So first question is biotechnological applications in agriculture. So we have to explain at least 10 to 12 points or 10 to 12 characters from this question, because they ask the biotechnological applications in the agriculture. Next one, biotechnological applications in medicine, just 10 to 12 points. Explain the gene therapy for adenosine deaminase deficiency. This is also important, because sometimes they ask this question in the 5 marks. So this is also adenosine deaminase deficiency. You have to write at least 8 to 10 points. And fourth thing, GM plants have been useful in many ways. Justify the statement. So genetically modified plants have been useful in many ways. We already studied that. Just we have to write a 10 to 12 points. Then explain 5 benefit of creating transgenic animals or transgenic plants. So we have to explain about why the transgenic animals are used in the lab condition. So just write 8 to 10 points about this question. Next is chapter number 13, that is organisms and population. So organisms and population, this chapter needs 7 marks, 1 mark 2 question and 5 mark 1 question. So in 1 mark question, so what is hibernation? So write the definition of hibernation or meaning of hibernation. What is natality, mortality, and euthermal and mutualism, amensalism, commensalism, parasitism, homeostasis and stenothermal. So these 10 are very important, because if they ask 1 mark question, they ask only from these questions only. Because, and also one more, they maybe also ask in MCQs. So natality, mortality, meaning. So what is euthermal, what is stenothermal, or what is parasitic, or what is amensalism. Okay, we have to clear about these. Next, in 5 mark questions, what is mutualism? Explain any 4 examples. So in mutualism, we have to write the definition of mutualism or what is mutualism, then write any 4 examples of the mutualism. Next, mention any 5 population interactions with the example. This is very important. Just first we have to write the what is population interactions and what are the types of population interactions with the examples. Just at least 10 to 12 points. And third question, define ecology, or what is ecology and what is the role of abiotic factors in the ecosystem. So this is also important. Then fourth question is exponential growth curve with a diagram and equation. So you have to draw the neat labeled diagram or graphical representation of the growth curve with the equation, and also write what is exponential growth curve. And fifth question is Warhol's per logistic growth curve diagram, also equation. Both are important. So if they ask any one from these two questions, like a growth curve or logistic growth curve, okay. Then chapter number 14, that is ecosystem. In this chapter only we need 6 marks, 1 mark 3 question, 3 mark 1 question. So 1 mark questions means stratification, define stratification or what is the meaning of stratification, then detritive ores, then food chain, then gross primary product GPP, and then standing crop, tropic level, humification, climax community, PAR, and pioneer species. So you have to write the meaning in 1 to 2 points or function of the point, okay. Then 3 mark questions, define food chain, mention the types of food chain. So first, what is food chain and what are the types of the food chain, and define ecological pyramids, mention any 2 types. So what is ecological pyramids and what are the types of number, mass, biomass or size. So you have to explain the types of the pyramids. Then define ecological succession and differentiate primary and secondary succession. So this is also for 3 marks. And explain representation of carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle. So in new blueprint or in this academic year, they removed some syllabus from the second PU. So if you have to know the syllabus, then study these questions, because in carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle in this academic year they removed these, okay. They removed 16th chapter and first chapter and 9th chapter. So based on the syllabus we have to study these questions. Next, in biodiversity and conservation, that is chapter number 15. So explain 3 levels of biodiversity, that is only 3 mark questions. Explain graphical representation of species area relationship. And third question, differentiate in situ and ex situ conservation. And what is that is fourth one, biodiversity plays a major role in providing a many ecosystem services. Just justify means we have to write at least 6 to 8 points why the biodiversity plays a major role in the ecosystem. Then mention the causes of biodiversity loss, okay. So these are a 5th chapter. Then so chapter number 16, environmental issues, 2 mark 1 question, 5 mark 1 question, so total 7 marks. Clear? So in 2 mark questions, name any 3 greenhouse gases. So write any 3 greenhouse gases or name of any 3 greenhouse gases. And what is ecological saltation? Mention its advantages, okay. And mention the causes of deforestation. So what is algal bloom? Mention its effects. Draw neat label diagram of the scrubber, okay. Next, 5 mark questions from this chapter. What is pollination? What is pollution? Mention the causes and prevention measures of air pollution. Define eutrophication, explain stages involved in the eutrophication, and discuss the consequences of global warming and ozone layer depletion. So this is also very important. And explain about solid wastes and greenhouse effect and global warming. So I already told you that. So new syllabus deleted some topics, deleted some chapters, like chapter number 1, 9 or 16, and also deleted some topics, deleted some chapters and deleted some topics also, deleted some topics. So based on the new syllabus you have to study and you have to prepare for the annual exams. And one more, start preparation now only. So don't wait for the examination period. So just start your preparation from now only or today only. And one more, take a print of the new syllabus and study point to point or topic to topic. Go slow and go perfectly and go confidently, okay. So keep this in mind. New syllabus is the only direction to your preparation. Okay, thank you once again.